Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, and I have on with me, after her trip to the Spirit Bowl, Keisha Kelly. How you doing, Kels?
I'm fine. I'm good. It's good to finally be back to normality.
Yes.
And trying to gain some normalcy to my, from the trip. I missed the snow by like a day or so because when I got back, it was snowing there. So I got back to Atlanta and it was snowing here. So, or like the next day or so. So it's been a run. It's been a race, but I'm happy to be back, and a lot did take place. And actually I think maybe 2 or 3 guys that are going to call in and tell us about their experience from the actual bowl. So, it was, but, I guess that's what we'll start off with.
Right.
The Road to the Spirit of America Bowl. Really great experience. I can't say it enough. Neil and his whole staff, they were the perfect host. Anything I needed, they got it. Any stats, any information, interviews, anything I needed on players, they were there. Coaches were on site. Scouts were on site. Parents were there cheering for their children. I think this was a really exciting experience, not only for me, but for those young men as well, because you have these guys coming out putting on, basically you're putting on, performing in front of scouts, and also for your family. You're just doing something that you love to do. So I think it was a great opportunity. Going there Wednesday, of course, it was straight, it was combine. They're going through drills or whatever. So it's combine on Wednesday. It's like coaches meetings. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's just like they're running practices and drills like twice a day. So, they're going through all of that. They're running so my props, my hats are off to coaches that can do that 2-3 times a day, and you're on the road weeks at a time. My props are off to coaches that can do that, because it got very strenuous for me. I actually had to stop on Saturday because migraines, and I was just like, I don't see how they run and do that. But you have to love what you do to continue to do that, because the job doesn't stop. It's no overtime. It's no overtime pay. And they just want to see these children get to the next level. So, and then the banquet was on Friday night.
Yeah. The
kids got their jerseys, and, of course, they're hyped up. You're talking about like 92 people, so they're hyped up. And, you have the HBCU Pride and HBCU Brave, and, everybody's so hyped up about what's going on. And, just imagine I'm like the female in the group, and it's like all these men. So, it's just a really great experience, and just to, just so many kind words just from them, hearing from Neil thanking me, to the athletes and the parents, them thanking me one by one for what we do. It was a really overwhelming feeling, because sometimes you feel like what you do, you can't see that you're making a difference,
right,
but you're making a difference, and they really appreciate it. So in the end, it was just a really great thing. And then in the end, they end up winning. The Brave ends up winning. So it was a really good thing.
Right. And the last turtle was the MVP, right, from Alcorn?
Yes, he was Yes, he was.
Right. So
he was.
He brought it home for the swag,
He brought it home for the swag. So we were pretty proud of him. And I didn't, the first time I actually got a chance to see him was at the game. I was looking for him the whole time. I wanted to get some interviews, but I kind of ventured out. Got one from Dominique Ford, which is going to be calling in from Langston. I did get a guy Mondo was from Chowan. I got the quarterback from Morehouse, Kevon. And then I got another guy that was from Bluefield College, just a random pick. So, again, these guys.
How did you say Chowan again? It's Chowan?
That's it's Chowan.
Oh,
I know.
We've been killing it.
We've been calling it Chowan.
I mean, we're from the South. You know what I'm saying? But now.
So imagine how when they go to announce the schools, and they're announcing every kid or every guy to come pick up their jersey. So they're calling their names out, and he says, "Keisha, how do you pronounce it?" And I said, "Chowan." And so when they got up, he said the guy's name, and he said Chowan, and everybody was like, "What?" And they was like, "Oh, it's Chowan." And I'm just like, "Oh, it ain't my school, it ain't my conference."
Well, see, and that's the thing. It's good we're gonna have. He's gonna be calling. Young man from Chowan is gonna be calling in, right?
I'm not. No, it's gonna be one of the guys from Langston. The other guy might be, I can't remember the other one.
Well, we're going to have to get somebody from Chowan. Now that we've been educated on how to pronounce.
Right.
Because you know me. I've been saying Bowie State and it's Bowie State. So, you know, you know how they say how HBCUs learn. So we got to take learning and get better. So now that we can pronounce Chowan better, we're going to definitely have to get somebody from Chowan on. Now, I got a chance to check out some of your interviews and your videos, and I just love the coverage that you provided. When I say my phone is still getting likes and retweets from your interviews, I had almost turned them off because when I say the exposure that your interviews got, the response that they got from the fans, and from family members and friends and just HBCU family in general. I mean, that's love. I mean, and that's what we try to bring with Black College Experience. I mean, I know that's one of your goals is to have more people, learn about what these young men do on the football field and young women do on their playing fields. And I think I guess you can say, I guess I can call you Ethan Hunt, like from Mission Impossible. You accomplished your goal and your mission for that weekend, I think.
I accomplished my goal. I was very tired, but I did. And the thing is that I'm still talking to these guys. Like anything y'all need, if you got videos you want to send. And I don't think I realized, I think you use Twitter a lot. I'm more of Instagram. But Twitter was the go-to for the weekend. Twitter was the main pusher, and I think that's probably where you get most of the traffic because there was so many people tweeting and retweeting and still like viewing the videos, like 2,000 or 3,000 views in a day or so. So it is, and I'm telling them keep retweeting, keep sharing, keep letting people know. Put your videos out there, put your highlights out there, let people know, because if we don't tell our story, no one else will, and that's our sole purpose. Our sole purpose to bring exposure to these kids.
Because I know everybody wants to get to the NFL. Yes, that is the highest level of football you can play in America. But it is not the only professional football league in America, and it's not the only professional football league in the world. I mean, Germany has a professional football league. Those players, they get paid well over there in Germany. I know they were trying to start a professional football league in I think either China or Japan again. So one of my offensive coordinator from my high school went over there to coach. So the American football is growing. Yes, we all want to get to the NFL, but if you can go somewhere, play football, and get paid, you're a professional. You have arena. You got Canada. There were rumors that Vince McMahon is going to bring the XFL back. So, but it's going to be a different brand of football if he does. More serious. He wants to, make it more viable this time. That'll be another avenue for our HBCU athletes to play professional football. So I'm just thankful that you got a chance to experience this. I was living vicariously through you. Every time you posted, I was going, I don't know if you saw, I was liking it and sharing every time you made a post because, I wanted to, experience what you were experiencing. I just thought that was awesome. You getting a chance to be a part of that. Hopefully next year, I can go with you. But of course, everyone knows, I have parental responsibilities, so I kind of missed all the fun. But it's okay. The queen got a chance to go out there and do her thing, and that's all that matters. And I'm so proud of you. I'm happy for you. Happy for us. I mean, Black College Experience is definitely on the map, Blair. Definitely on the map now.
Yeah, it is,
right,
and it's it's some other things that'll be coming up, but I'll talk to you about those later. But let's go ahead. let's talk about the NFL Players Association Collegiate Bowl, because we got bowls going on. We got Senior Bowl coming up this weekend. We had the NFL Players Association Collegiate Bowl. So talk to us about yesterday's bowl game.
Well, it was Kenny Hill, at least the American team. I think they won the game, but we had a couple of HBCU players on this team. You had two right now that I'm seeing, and you're Aaron Tiller, and he got a sack in the game, and Ebenezer Ogundeko from Tennessee State. You had those two pass rushers on the American team's defense. We know what Aaron Tiller could do. Ebenezer Ogundeko I think he was a first team Ohio Valley selection. He is a bona fide potential NFL prospect. He's about 6'5", about 260 pounds, and he is a monster when he comes out. We know Aaron's gonna pursue you. It was good to see those guys get a chance to showcase their talents for the scouts. Also, Martez Carter was in this game. I saw some of the practice film of him doing his thing out of the backfield. Virginia State's Trenton Cannon, running back kick returner out of Virginia State. He was in this game. Let's see who else was in this game from HBCU. Trying to see who else was in this game. I think that's all the players that were in the game from HBCUs. But it's good. Justin Evans out of South Carolina State was in this game. He played offensive tackle. He was on the Nationals team. And Anthony Filial out of Howard, running back. And I think that is it for our HBCUs in the Collegiate Bowl. So it's just good to see our HBCU athletes get chances to showcase their skills. Only thing we need now, Kels, is for them to have more of our HBCU stars on these all-star teams. Switching to the Senior Bowl, we have three. Your Southern University, Danny Johnson at cornerback, all-world offensive lineman, Brandon Parker out of North Carolina A&T, and the MEAC Defensive Player of the Year, Darius Leonard out of South Carolina State. Will be playing for the Senior Bowl. So, that's going to be next week, January 27th. So they're going through Senior Bowl practices and just trying to get themselves positioned to showcase the best they can do for these scouts. And we're hoping that all of our HBCU athletes get a chance to showcase their skills. And for potential, it's a job interview. It's a job interview. It's a job interview for the next level. And also, we want to give kudos to Devontae Kincaid. He was a quarterback in the collegiate Gridiron Showcase. He was on. He was a part of that All-Star game. So it's just good to see our stars getting recognition. Just so they can be around other football players and showcase that they can play with players of different skill levels of football skills. So,
yeah, I'm so proud of them. To see that and then the thing is, they actually go out there and they made some moves and they made some plays. So, it's really good. And I was going back watching it because I was out yesterday, but I'm really proud of those guys and really, really excited. And then Senior Bowl, for people that don't know, Senior Bowl, once again, like I said, I was talking about on Friday, you're talking about an all-time Senior Bowl team. You had Ed Too Tall Jones, right. You had Walter Payton, and then you had what? I'm sorry?
I was just saying sweetness.
Yeah. And so, it's you have these people out of these HBCUs that people don't want to talk about, but you just really can't deny, what they've done and their influence and their impact on the National Football League. So it is, once again, it's always great to see our guys. I don't care if we send one, if we send two, if we send five. It's really good to see our guys out there getting a chance to do something, and when they make these plays, it's really good. And I do regret that I won't get a chance to get out to Mobile next weekend because I have some prior obligations, but I really want to get out there and see those because for people that don't know, Carson Wentz, the year that Carson Wentz played in Senior Bowl, I was there. And now look at Carson Wentz. So, these bowls are opportunities, are chances for these guys to really showcase their talent and get out there and really make some plays and, get those scouts talking to them and get them on the phone. So, it's a really exciting thing. But let's go ahead and take a commercial break before we come back and start talking about some basketball.
We'll be right back with more Black College Experience in 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience, and Kel's ready to talk about some SIAC basketball.
It's been an exciting weekend or exciting drive right now for Morehouse. Right now, Morehouse is undefeated. For people that don't know, they are nationally ranked right now. I want to say they might still be 14. And then yesterday they did play Claflin. So, it was a really great game. But Morehouse did walk away. And Morehouse has the type of team, they get a lot of steam. And Claflin kept up with them for the most part. But once Morehouse gets away from you, it's a done deal. At one point, they had them at the stretch almost like maybe like 20 points. But then they came with it maybe 10 or so. But Morehouse did end up winning. You talk about an undefeated team here in Atlanta. That's not happening all the time. So, my thing is that when you got an undefeated Morehouse men's basketball team, you need all type of media coverage over that right now because these kids are out here doing something that, basically nobody else is doing right now. So they're out here undefeated. Clark Atlanta right across the way is only one game shy of them. So they're about to run neck to neck, but right now they are undefeated. And again, Clark is right across the way doing their thing. They're just one game away. So you have two teams in the conference in the same city that's balling out of control. And right now, my aim and my work is to make sure that the some news station, WSB-TV is who I'm trying to get, is who I've talked to try to make sure we can get some coverage here in Atlanta on these guys that are playing sound basketball. I'm talking about every week. Yesterday would have been a prime opportunity to get out here and see these Morehouse, the Morehouse, this Tiger team, because they had a nice crowd. They had a packed house. They had the band. They had the dancers. It was a really great time to get out there and support those kids. And I can't say it enough. We owe it to these kids to get out here and support them. We owe it to them because they're going out there every week, 3-4 times a week. Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, whatever days, Saturdays, and they're playing ball and they're traveling. So we owe it to those kids. And I feel like media owes it to them as well to go out there and bring some type of exposure. And the guy's telling me that he's saying that they're going to get out there and they're saying that they've been trying. But I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to just I'm going to have to continue to apply the pressure. And that's what I'm going to have to do for the week. That's fine. But I really believe that don't just come to a major game. You can come to a game where it's only 100 people, but you need to come and put these children on TV. They need the exposure too because they're undefeated. And if they were doing something wrong, it would be on TV. So why not put the positive on TV?
Exactly. I mean, it's exactly. When you have, even though that may look at us as lower tier basketball, Division II basketball, but it's still unprecedented what these athletes are doing. I look at the young lady from Grambling. I mean, what she did, you know what I'm saying? She got exposure on ESPN. It shouldn't matter what level of football or basketball you play or what level of sport you play. If you're doing something spectacular in your league, it deserves exposure. I mean, ESPN does it for FCS football. You know, they give them
Right.
tons of exposure. So why not do that for HBCU sports as well? HBCU sports has a fan base, has a following, a loyal following. So
Right.
and if they give us exposure, then we all know everything is about the almighty dollar. We
Right.
know that. But, you know, if you give us exposure, then our fans will follow it. You know, like I said, if you the old from the Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. If you put us on TV, we will watch. You know,
That's it.
We will
That's
watch.
it. We
know,
gonna watch it. We gonna record it. We gonna talk about it. We gonna upload it. We gonna share.
Right.
That's true.
So
That's us. That's true.
This is an untapped media resource that ESPN, CBS, Fox, small little sports networks are missing out on because, you know, no, we're not Alabama. But guess what? Alabama don't have the greatest wide receiver in history, do they? No, they don't. Alabama doesn't have one of the greatest running backs in history either, in Walter Payton. So, you know, it's past time for the sports networks to give HBCUs, FCS, and Division II our due, Kels.
Right. I agree.
Yes, indeed.
I agree.
So, on the women's side, let me pull this up here. Where is it at? Because because the women are doing some good good things on the basketball court. Also, let's see here, standings. All right, standings for the women. Clark Atlanta on the east side sits at 9-2. Claflin is at 8-2. These are all conference records. Albany State's at 6-4. Benedict at 5-6. Fort Valley State at 3-9, and Payne down under is the defeated 0-9 in the conference. In the West, Central State sits at 9-1. Spring Hill sits at 6-3. Kentucky State 6-5. Lamar 5-5. Miles 3-5. Lane 3-6, and Tuskegee at 2-7. So, you know, those are the records for the ladies on the hardwood. So, you know, they're doing their thing also on the basketball court. And you know me, Kel, I'm a women's basketball groupie. I love, you know, just like you love giving exposure to sports as a whole, I love giving exposure to women's sports because, you know, it's awesome to see the feast that these young ladies accomplish on the playing fields, and they deserve just as much exposure as the men do. So, you know, I'm a staunch supporter of that. But let's see here. Dropping back over to football for a moment. Back in our home league, Kills, there was one school who had yet to have named their football coach. Well, that has happened. The Alabama A&M Bulldogs have named Connell Maynard as their head coach, and you know he was the head coach, I think, at Hampton. He has won. He's known more so known for his stint at Winston-Salem State. He led the Pirates to a 20-25 record. He and 2 winning seasons, including a 6-5 record and a 5-3 record in the MEAC conference this past season. At Winston-Salem State, he has a 45-6 overall record and a 29-2 mark in the CIAA as head coach from 2010-2013. After inheriting a program that finished 1-10, he led the Rams to 3 straight CIAA championships in 3 seasons, 3 straight appearances in the Division II playoffs, 2 Super Region 1 titles, and an NCAA semifinal appearance in 2011, and an NCAA Division II national championship appearance and runner-up. The Rams also captured the 2011 and 2012 HBCU National Football Championships. This is a good hire for Alabama A&M, Kells. A lot of people are looking at the fact that he didn't have the same success that he had at Winston State at Hampton, but you can't define some of these head coaches by when they don't have much success at one job as they had at the next, because there's a lot of factors that play into that. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a good hire for Alabama A&M. I can't wait to see what type of staff he hires, and the brand of football that Alabama A&M decides to play under Maynard. We had a lot of coaching changes in HBCU football, and it's good to see everything settled in now. Coaches are going to be getting ready for the spring, because it's January. Spring football is right around the corner, kills. So even though we're in basketball season, football still is dominant. You're going to have spring football coming. I think in some leagues, players are already working out, preparing for the spring. So, what do you think about Alabama and them hiring Cornell Maynard as their head coach?
Well, I think it's something. It's different. If you look at the success, from his previous, the only thing is like you look at when he came in, and it's a lot of, it's been some shakeups at Alabama A&M as well. The interim that they had, from my understanding, they fired him. Like with the whole recruiting staff, so they've changed some stuff within the, you got to look at this because spring training is coming up soon, and you got signing day and all this commitments and stuff coming up. So, they had to hurry up and get it done. But I think this will be a fresh start from Alabama for Alabama A&M to see, what's going to go on. And not only are they having a lot of changes, Alcorn is having a lot of coaching changes.
Yes. They got rid of almost their whole staff and stuff for the head coach and one assistant. So
it's just a lot going on with these teams. A lot going on, and we're going to see a lot of changes coming into the fall. As far as the East and the West, it's going to be a lot of shakeup, and we right now, you got a new coach. Basically, you got new coaches all over the place. So, I mean, you got Prairie View with a new coach. You got Alabama A&M with a new coach. You got Alabama State with a new coach. You're gonna have Valley with a new coach. So it's just on both sides. It's a lot of shakeup.
Right, and just to run down all the coaching changes that have occurred across the HBCU landscape. Of course, we just talked about Alabama A&M hiring Cornell Maynard. Alabama State made Donahue Ely the permanent head coach after he led a resurgence during the season as the interim. Arkansas Pine Bluff has hired Cedric Thomas. Delaware State still has an interim head coach in EJ Jr. Edward Waters hired Greg Wuffen. FAMU hired Willie Simmons away from Prairie View. Hampton has hired Robert Prunty. Lincoln is still searching for their coach. My Delta Devils, as you said, hired Vincent Dancy. Morgan State has Ernest Jones in the interim. NCA&T, and that's something we were going to talk about. Rob Broadway retired, and Mississippi State University Delta Devil alum Sam Washington has taken the helm of the reigning Black College National Champions. NC Central still has an interim in Granville Eastman. Prairie View hired Eric Dooley away from Grambling, and Virginia Union has settled on Alvin Parker as its head coach. So still a few permanent positions to fill. It's going to be an exciting football season across the HBCU landscape because, of course, new coaches brings new excitement to your teams, to your fan base. Teams across the HBCU landscape are going to be looking to, dethrone some of the stalwarts. Vincent, Dooley, knows Grambling inside and out, and he's going to be now competing against his former boss for the SWAC West title, and they're also going to have to contend with Dawson Odoms, who is, rebuilding his Southern squad after losing his all-world quarterback. He's losing another running back, and of course losing Danny Johnson and Aaron Tiller. And Southern's been hot on the recruiting trail. All HBCU schools have been hot on the recruiting trail, trying to bring in quality athletes to continue their success. Speaking of one school that's been bringing in quality athletes, this topic has been hot on social media with one of the players having a little bit of controversy. He does bring some clout with him. He does bring a national championship ring with him, but he also brings in a problem that Tennessee State doesn't really want. Last year, we all know Tennessee State had the issue with the young man punching an assistant coach. He was summarily kicked out of school, kicked out the football team, and banished from Tennessee State. But if you watch the national championship game, you're gonna know who Mekhi Brown is. He's an outside linebacker recruit and player for Alabama. Had a pretty good game in helping Alabama come back to beat Georgia. He is transferring to Tennessee State, along with three others: Christian Abercrombie, Demery Croft, and John Robinson IV, have all officially enrolled for classes at Tennessee State. Abercrombie is a linebacker out of the University of Illinois. He's a 6'1", 230-pound redshirt freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia, Westlake High School. His stats are 11 tackles, 6 solo while playing 11 games. Let's see, he's a 3-star recruit out of Westlake High. Mekhi Brown, everyone knows who he is, played in 12 games, recorded 7 tackles and 3 solos, and he was a 4-star prospect. Demery Croft is a quarterback, a 6'5", a 205-pound redshirt sophomore. And John Robinson IV is a defensive back out of University of Connecticut, a 6'2", 195-pound redshirt sophomore. And we have a caller on the line, so I'm gonna cut what I'm talking about, and let's see who we have on the line. Caller, who do we have on the line?
Dominic Foy.
Oh, how you doing, sir?
Foy.
Yeah, how you doing, young man?
I'm pretty good. How y'all doing?
You're the young man who's been causing our Twitter feed to just explode. I had to mute my notifications due to your interview. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and I should have known it was you because I see the 504. So I said that's got to be the young man from New Orleans. So, Kels, this show, baby.
Yes, sir.
You go ahead and take the lead on this interview with Mr. Foy.
Okay, so again, we'll start here. Even before the bowl, let's go back because he's from Langston. You had an undefeated season. So we're just going to turn this into like a mini interview here. Tell us about that undefeated season with Langston, how y'all got to, because I know you told me y'all bought into it, and everybody basically bought into it, but tell us about that undefeated season.
We had a change of staff on the offensive side going into spring practice. Our offensive coordinator went to be the offensive coordinator at Morehouse, and we got a new staff. It was kind of different because the OC that we had before this season, we was the number 4 offense in the nation. We averaged like 45 points a game, and this new OC we got, he was kind of more old school, more conservative, hold the ball type, and it was different. And coming from an explosive offense, moving into something like that, of course, it was different for everybody. And at first, it wasn't something that everybody was like with at first, but at the end of the day, they got a lot of talent on the team at Langston, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's a small NAI HBCU school in Oklahoma, but we, like myself, I transferred to Langston from Prairie View when I first came to Langston, and we have a lot of other D1 transfers that come to Langston. But we, as a senior class, we had a bad practice one day, and one day we just had a meeting, and we was like, man, what we gonna do? Like, it's our last season. Like, is either we might not agree with everything that's said all the time, but like at the end of the day, we trying to win. This never been a losing program. In the past 8 years, they have 5 out of the 8 conference championships. So, but yeah, it's always been a winning program. So we as a senior class, is always about leaving your legacy. And Langston hasn't been undefeated in the regular season since 1973. So we all just bought in, and the goal was to never look ahead and always take it 1 week at a time. So it was always, the goal was to be 1-0 every week. And we did that every weekend. We made some history this year. Things didn't go well like we wanted to in the playoffs, but I got nothing but faith that they'll be back next year and they'll be stronger than ever, because we only had 10 seniors. So they pretty much got the whole team coming back, and they got a lot of big-time transfers coming in also. So they should be a team to look out for next year.
Right. So,
Go ahead.
You say you transferred from Prairie View. Talk to us about the difference between Prairie View, the environments of Prairie View football, and Langston football.
Oh, well, I originally was at a junior college, and I didn't kind of bounce around when it come to college football. My freshman year, I went to Mississippi College. I went All-American as an outside linebacker there, and I didn't like it. It just didn't seem like a place for me. And it's nothing against the program over there, but I just wasn't happy there. So I left and I went to junior college in Los Angeles at Los Angeles Valley College, and I moved back over on the offensive side of the ball to tight end, and I went All-American at tight end out there, and I wound up finishing with, like, I was a 3-star prospect. I was the number 9 tight end in the nation. I had about 20 offers, but I love music. Actually, in high school, I also was in the band also. I grew up around Southern. I grew up around HBCU. So, like, I turned down a lot of big schools to go to HBCU because that's what I wanted to do for myself. And my mama told me always follow where your heart want to go. And when Prairie View staff came for an in-home visit, it just felt like home. Like, they immediately clicked with me. Like, he must have DM'd me on Twitter on a Tuesday, and by that Thursday, I was committed to them. And I did everything I was supposed to do to get there, but they have so many rules with the NCAA and transferring from a 2-year to a 4-year. So once I got the PV, compliance said that I was 3 credit hours short of receiving my associate's degree. So I had to go back to JUCO, or I had to pick a smaller school to go to. And JUCO was a struggle, so I just went ahead and chose Langston. But the time that I was there, PV, it's total different. It's a total different atmosphere compared to Langston. Like, of course, you're around Houston, you're around the bigger city. The nearest big city to Langston is Oklahoma City, which is like 30 minutes away. And we're in the middle of OSU and OU, so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere and kind of in the middle of everything at the same time, but it's a total difference. And the support is a total difference also. Like, ain't no football like swag football as far as support and just competition, period. That's why playing in a bowl game felt like home for me, because that was a bunch of dudes I was going to play against anyway, so it felt good to be able to compete against them.
That's awesome, man. You have an interesting story. You know, you went to Mississippi College. You said you were All-American at Mississippi College?
Yes, sir.
Man, that's awesome. And then you end up at Langston. And here's the thing, Kels. You said something that was music to me and Kels' ears. You had about 20 offers, but you turned them down to go to an HBCU.
Yes, sir.
Because here's something that people are surprised about. Normally when an athlete as yourself, 3-star athlete, bona fide FBS prospect, signs with an HBCU, a lot of people think it has something to do with grades, or
Right.
they had you on the fringe, or you weren't really wanted, and that's not always true. It's good, and that's something that my frat brother, I can't, always is saying out of our corn. He wants high end prospects like yourself to choose HBCUs, and to hear you say that should let people know that even though you have offers from the big schools, if an HBCU is in your heart, that's where you're going to end up. Playing for Alabama, Mississippi State, or Ohio State in front of all those people, the pageantry that the FBS provides. Yes, that's exciting. But if HBCU is in your heart, then HBCU is in your heart, and it brought you home. Brought you from Mississippi College to junior college to Prairie View to Langston, and you ended up playing in an HBCU All-Star game, and I just think that's amazing. Kels?
Yeah.
I now, one thing you said that stuck out, and I was having this very conversation with some guys from Alabama State. We were talking about this just the other night. We were talking about people were talking about the keys and the components of recruiting. And one of the things that we often talk about is social media. This is a social media generation. I'm 37. Mm-hmm. Derek is 38. So we're older. So, back when we were in college, there was no Snapchat. There was no, no Instagram. There was no Facebook. There was, I think it's probably coming out, but it was none of that type of thing. Now you have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope. You have all of these means where you can put all your stuff out there, and it's instantaneously where you can actually get somebody. You said the DM in your Twitter, and I had this conversation with a guy that was telling us, oh no, when it comes to recruiting, Twitter is. He was saying that it was. He was saying that it was a source, but it's not the only source. And I was like, whether you know it or not, plenty of coaches go to Twitter to find athletes. Yeah. That's where a lot of people are found on Twitter.
Right.
And people
got to understand.
Because Jackson State's head coach was criticized for, not head coach, Chad German, offensive coordinator at the time, was criticized for a post he made that say, if you know of any good quarterbacks, send them to me. Because they're obviously athletes. There is no way he can know of every good prospect at quarterback that's out there. So he was using social media to find the next potential quarterback recruit for him. He caught so much flack. I was happy that he did it because that brings exposure to Jackson State. I know I sent some prospects. I tweeted some prospects at him. Some of those got retweeted. Don't necessarily know if they fit his style, but it may have gotten that prospect noticed by somebody. And, but go ahead, sir.
But yeah, as far as the social media, that's big now because a lot of people can't afford to go to all these different camps and everything that's offered at these big universities that the people might want to go to. So sending your film is the next best thing. But with sending your film, you really got to make sure that you got everything in line, because even sending your film, when I was in junior college, the first question the coach go ask when he come in is before you even talk about your film is what your grades looking like. So even when you tweeting film and saying I got a player that could do this and that could do that, that's the next question they go ask is about the grades. And if you don't have that, you could be the best player in the world that could probably fit their program, but if you don't have it, they can't take an offer on you.
I agree with you. So now ask you this: talk about your experience in the game. How did you enjoy playing in that environment? And talk to us about any stats you accumulated or any potential professional prospects that you may have, NFL, Arena League, Canadian League, or just in general any other professional football league where you may try to showcase your skills?
The game was cool. I'm from New Orleans. I've never been in no cold like that. Like it get cold in Oklahoma, but it was cold out there. So I had to get my mind to kind of bear with that the few days we was out there before I could even focus on playing football because it was cold. But other than that, like when we had one-on-one drills and everything, I won. I think I only out of 9, I think I missed 1 ball. I went like 8 for 9 in one-on-one drills. They had some real good coaches though. We had the offensive staff from Bethune-Cookman, and I forgot his name, but the tight end coach that was helping us, he was helping me on a lot of technique things. And when we got to the game, they didn't really throw the ball too much to the tight ends, but I had some good blocks. And in the game, not in the game, during practice that week, I got pulled to the side by 4 different teams. I talked to the Packers, I talked to the Jets, the Falcons, and I talked to the Colts. And the Colts actually talked to me about playing the defensive side of the ball because they knew my background of playing defense my freshman year. So they talked to me and asked me how would I feel about working out for them as a outside linebacker / DN. And I said, man, whatever will get me into camp, I'll play whatever. So,
but here's the thing, the Colts have a history of drafting
HBCU players,
defensive ends your size. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that makes you marketable, the fact that you excelled at playing both sides of the ball. There's a story I just read about a basketball player from Ole Miss that found his way to become the starting offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars because he had the athletic ability. You have the athletic ability to play offense and defense, and that just makes you more marketable so that, you have that chance to coach like, well, hey, we don't really need a tight end, but what do you think about defensive end? And the Colts also drafted an HBCU defensive tackle out of Albany State in the 4th round last year, Grady. So the Colts have a history of targeting HBCU players, and I'm glad that they thought to that lets you know that they checked into your background. They just didn't look at what you did at Langston. They did some background checking on you to see what your background was for your whole body work of your college athletic career. And kudos to the coach for doing that and saying, hey, would you have a problem moving back to defense? And I know you probably gave them a response of, HE double hockey sticks. No, I'll do it. So, Kels. We have
so Dominique. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We have another caller. Go ahead.
Another call. No, I think we lost him. Hopefully he'll call back. But man, he has an interesting story, Kels. I didn't know all that about him, until he said that he has been on an interesting journey. And a story like that definitely needs to be told. From him, having the opportunity to go to PWIs or and choosing to go to there he is, but there's Mr. Ford back there. We were just talking about your story. The journey that you've been on. I mean, that's almost kind of like Blindside, like, man. It's kind of Blindside, like, for the journey that you've been on. And, for you to make the choices that you made because you did what was in your heart. You didn't do what nobody else wanted you to do. You did what was best for you and what made you feel comfortable. And that's just what led you on the path that you've had to take, following God and following your heart, man.
Yeah, God, Mama, she a real spiritual person. So, cause when I first had to leave PV, I was kind of depressed because I had worked so hard in junior college to like get my grades back right and get everything that I got in junior college as far as offers and everything. So when I first had to leave, I was a little depressed, but I was like, God do everything for a reason. He ain't put you through everything you done been through so far for you to just get upset because you can't go the way you want to go. He put me here for a reason, and no shade to PV, that's my dudes, but I wouldn't have went 10-0 at PV. I wouldn't have won a ring out there, none of that. So I feel like he put me in the right place, and like I said, I was still able to play in the game. So everything happened for a reason. Because that was my biggest thing with coming to Langston. I'm like, man, I'm not about to get no publicity. Like, we not about to get no exposure. But like I said, God do everything for a reason, and put me in a position to be able to showcase my talents to the highest level.
Right. So, we're getting down close to the end of the show. We want to thank you for calling in and sharing your story with us. You are now family, so you can call in the Black College Experience anytime you want to talk sports. Definitely, next year when football season starts, if you want to call in and talk about what are some of your opinions on some of these games, man, feel free, man. That's what we like. We like to have people call back in and keep in touch with us and let us know how they're doing.
Most definitely.
Kels?
All right, that's all, and good luck with everything that you do. What do you have coming up? Do you have anything coming up?
I'm training right now. We have pro days at end of March, but I'm actually one of my position coaches from the past. He's trying to work on me doing my pro day at Oklahoma State. So they're in talks of doing that right now to see if I could do my pro day there. If I could do that there, I'm really in the door. Like I know what I could do with my talent wise, but doing it at Oklahoma State in front of you, at other schools you're gonna have some teams there, but like they're gonna have all 32 teams there. So it's either gonna be me doing my pro day at Oklahoma State or the University of Central Oklahoma. Because we have a pro day here, but it's not typically big.
Right.
So
So what
training?
Do you know what's the likelihood that Oklahoma State will allow you to participate?
They still in talks of it right now. He my coach that played there, he was a 3-time All-American there, and he went to the NFL and played 7 years in the NFL and was a 4-time All-Pro at tight end. So he got a lot of pull over there. We're just trying to see if they will let that happen. His name is Alonzo Mays.
Oh, yeah. I know who Alonzo Mays is. Yeah. You'll definitely have more opportunities, more eyes on you at Oklahoma State. And the thing is, if you can play, Kels is mentioned, if you can play, they will find you. And I do hope you get a chance to showcase your skills at the larger pro day event at Oklahoma State. If that doesn't happen, what about Oklahoma? They're gonna have a pro day with the Heisman Trophy winner being there if he participates in the pro day. Would that be an option as well?
Yeah, it's just typically like when most of the time when you're doing pro days at other schools, the only way for you to get into that program's pro day is either you have to have some kind of pool with a coach or something like that, or a scout from an NFL team has to request you to be at their pro day because, say like coming from a smaller school like this, they understand that we don't have the biggest pro day. So they'll request you to be at their pro day, and that other school will comply and let you participate in it.
Right, and we understand they may feel like they don't want to take the shine away from their players, but it's a combine-like setting, so everybody's gonna get shine. You're there doing your drills, so I do hope that Oklahoma State lets you participate. I think it'll be good when you get that decision. Feel free to let us know. We can update our listeners on that situation. And man, good luck on your journey, man. I mean, I'm down here in Baton Rouge. If you're in Baton Rouge, man, hit us up, man. Kales has mentioned it would be nice to meet you because I'm right down the street in Baton Rouge. Because when I saw you were from New Orleans, I was like, oh, he's from New Orleans, That was me who tweeted that to you. When I saw that, I was like, man, that's awesome. Got a Louisiana kid up there balling. You know what I'm saying? Doing this thing.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for calling in, man. And feel free to call in anytime you want when we have a show on Sunday nights.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, Kills. Like I said, just to finish, what a journey he has been on. We got about
it has been
5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in the show, and I just wanted to run down some SWAC scores in basketball and from the weekend. And my Delta Devils took a big loss on the chin, which still defeated from Texas Southern 91-77. Alcorn State defeated Alabama A&M 68-52. Wow. Grambling State continues their surprising resurgence in men's basketball, blowing out Jackson State 72-45 on the Tigers' home floor. Your Jags defended their home floor 63-61 against Alabama State. And Prairie View loses to Arkansas Pine Bluff 72-66. And the current standings are right now Pine Bluff at 6-0 is atop the SWAC.
That's right. They're undefeated.
Jackson State takes their
They're
first loss.
They're undefeated right now.
Big loss, like I said earlier, to Grambling. They're at 6-1. Texas Southern, the preseason SWAC champion, sits at 4-2. Grambling at 4-3, surprising some teams with 2 wins over Jackson State and Southern. Grambling basketball looks to be, making some noise. Alabama State's at 3-3. Southern's at 3-4. Prairie View at 2-4. Bama A&M at 2-4. Alcorn State at 2-5, and of course my Delta Devils are at 0-6 in the SWAC. Moving along to the women. Results. Texas Southern defeats my Lady Devilettes 55-39. Your Lady Jags defeat Alabama State 66-58. Alcorn defeats Alabama A&M 57-52. Jackson State Ladies takes care of Grambling's Ladies 82-70. And Prairie View defeats Arkansas Pine Bluff 64-52. And the standings in the women are as follows. Southern, your Lady Jags are number 1 in the SWAC women's standings at 6-1. Jackson State at 5-2. Texas Southern at 4-2. Alcorn at 4-3. Grambling at 4-3. Surprising Grambling is that they had a terrific season last year, but we know how some things change from season to season. Alabama A&M at 3-3. Prairie View at 3-3. Alabama State at 2-4. Arkansas Pine Bluff at 1-5, and my Lady Devilettes at 0-6. And right now we are the only program in Division I basketball whose men's and women's teams are winless right now, and it's still, I'm proud of my school. I love my school. We need to do something to turn it around. We got to get in the win column, Kels, You got to get in the win column,
Okay, before we wrap this up, I do want to hit, because we are also in tennis season and bowling. Right now, the bowling West Roundup standings for day 2. Of course, Texas Southern is still first, so they're 8-1. Jackson State is 7-1. Prairie View comes in third with 6-3. Bama State comes in 5-3, which moved us down. Southern is 3-5, and then Grambling is 1-8. So that's what's going on there as far as, of course, the great old bowling. Looks like over in the wonderful sport of tennis, Southern did lose to number 22 LSU 4-0. And then looks like with nothing going on with men's tennis yet. So yeah, that's what's going on, and that's the end of the show, looks like.
All right, so we'll be back next week with more Black College Experience from Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Keisha Kells in Atlanta, Georgia. Good night, and see you next week.
Good night.